I broke Dave Ramsey's baby steps, and I'm so glad I did. While I do agree with Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps for the most part, there are some steps I believe are out of date, and I'm so glad I did not follow these baby steps. If I had followed these baby steps, it would have literally cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. In case you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, these are basically 7 financial rules that you should follow to save for emergencies, to pay off all your debt, and to start building wealth. It's basically a personal finance roadmap, and millions of people have followed it to become wealthy. I'm going to give a review of the 7 baby steps, and then I'm going to explain which baby steps I think are out of date and should be updated. Baby step number 1, save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Before you start tackling your debt, Dave Ramsey says it's best to save $1,000 as a starter emergency fund, just in case something happens and you need some access to cash quickly for an emergency instead of using a credit card. Baby step number 2, pay off all your debt except the house using the debt snowball. Dave Ramsey says you should pay off all your debt except for your home mortgage. He's okay with you not paying off your home mortgage at this phase. And he says the best way to pay off your debt is using the debt snowball. The way the debt snowball works is you make a list of all your debts, write them all out, order them from least to greatest. Focus completely on paying off the least first. Only pay the minimums on all the other debts. Put all your extra money toward paying off the smallest debt first, then the next smallest debt, then the next smallest debt, until all your debt is paid off. By following this debt snowball approach, each time you pay off a small debt, your monthly income margin increases by however much, by the amount you're saving on the money that would have gone toward paying those monthly debts. Baby step number 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Add up all your monthly expenses. How much money do you spend every month? Multiply that by 3 to 6. 3 is the minimum. 6 is a fully funded emergency fund. You want to have this emergency fund in case you lose your job or something like that. You don't want to be desperate for money if you lose your job. You want to have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up so you have some time to look for a job. Baby step number 4, start investing 15% of your household income into retirement. Dave Ramsey has a network called SmartVestor Pros. At this phase, you could look up a SmartVestor Pro. It's a financial advisor that you can hire to invest that 15% every month for you in the Dave Ramsey way. It's really important to start investing in retirement so you have something when you reach retirement age. Baby step number 5, save for your children's college fund. Dave Ramsey suggests that you put money toward a good high growth mutual fund. There are some special accounts you can have with good tax benefits that allow you to save for your children's college. He suggests you use these. Start putting some money aside now so you're not having to get student loans whenever your child is ready for college. Baby step number 6, pay off your home early. Dave Ramsey suggests you put another 15% of your income toward paying off your home mortgage early. According to some statistics by Dave Ramsey's team, people who follow this approach are able to pay off their house in around 10 to 11 years on average. This frees up your monthly mortgage, which you can then use for baby step 7. Baby step 7 is build wealth and give. Put even more than 15% of your household income toward retirement and make sure you're giving to help others. Be generous. Those are the 7 baby steps created by Dave Ramsey. This is his personal finance roadmap, and he confidently says this plan works every time. He hasn't changed the plan in 25 years. While I do think this is a good plan, it's hard to go wrong if you follow this plan. There are some steps I think should be updated. The first one is baby step 1, save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. $1,000 may have been enough money for a starter emergency fund 25 years ago, but with all the inflation over the past 25 years, I would say your emergency fund at minimum should be $2,000, and I really think $3,000 is the right number. I think you should have a $3,000 emergency fund before trying to pay off your debt. If you don't, you may find yourself trying to pay off your car, which maybe has a 3% interest rate, and then maybe your car breaks down and it's going to cost $2,500 to fix it. Instead of paying cash for it, you might have to use a credit card with a 30% interest rate when you could have just saved a $3,000 emergency fund and paid cash. Now you're going to have to figure out how to pay off the credit card, and you're going to have to pay up to 30% interest while you do it. So that's the first rule I think should be updated. Save $3,000 for a starter emergency fund. The second rule I would update has to do with when you should buy a house if you do not already own a house. This is not in the official 7 baby steps, but the Dave Ramsey team says before you buy a home, you should be completely debt-free and have a fully funded emergency fund. So 3 to 6 months of expenses fully funded in a savings account. They then say it's best to have a 20% down payment so you don't have to pay the monthly PMI payments. But they say it's okay to have a 5 to 10% down payment, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. Another rule is that your monthly payments for your mortgage, including principal, interest, property tax, homeowners insurance, private mortgage insurance, HOA fees, should not be more than 25% of your monthly income. You should not be spending more than 25% of your monthly paycheck on a home. This rule in particular is the rule I broke, and I'm so glad I broke this rule. I am so glad I did not follow Dave Ramsey's advice on when to buy a home. It literally would have cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let me explain. In the US, after the pandemic hit, people started panicking and buying houses. Houses nearly doubled in value in just 2 to 3 years, while at the same time, interest rates skyrocketed. In 2020, you could buy a decent house in some places for $150,000 at a 3% interest rate. By 2023, that same house would be $300,000 or more at an interest rate of 7%. To put that in perspective, this is a mortgage calculator that Dave Ramsey has created. A $150,000 home at a 3% interest rate on a 15-year fixed mortgage, the payments would be $1,347 a month. That is in 2020. Now move forward to 2023, just 3 years later. Say that same house is $300,000 at a 7% interest rate on a 15-year fixed mortgage. The payments are now $3,062. That means if you would have followed Dave Ramsey's plan and waited to pay off your debt and build a 6-month emergency fund and save 5 to 20% down payment on a home, your monthly payments would be $3,000 a month instead of just $1,300 a month. In other words, you'd be paying $1,700 a month more for your home. For people who are barely making it, who are trying their best to pay off their debt, but still maybe 3 to 5 years away from paying off their debt, this would have been devastating. For the rest of their lives, they're stuck paying $1,700 more until their home is paid off. This is why I believe Dave Ramsey's advice on when to buy a home is actually terrible advice. It is by far the most dangerous rule to follow, especially if you're a lower income earner, barely making it with not a lot of margin in your budget. I think you should buy a home as quickly as you can afford one so that your payments are locked in no matter where the interest rates go. This is what I did. When the prices started going up like crazy in about 2021, I went ahead and bought a home for about $165,000. That same home today, just 2 years later, is worth $250,000, almost $100,000 more. And on top of that, you can't hardly find any homes anymore where I live for under $350,000. Even $250,000 would be an insanely good deal in the current market. So here's an example of what that would have looked like if I would have followed Dave Ramsey's plan. At a 3% interest rate, a $165,000 15-year fixed mortgage would be $1,459 a month. If I would have waited until my debt was all paid off and bought a house today, say I could get lucky and find a $320,000 house. My monthly payments for the next 15 years would be $3,251 a month. That's almost $1,750 more a month. With the debts I still currently have, my monthly payments on my debt minus the house is only around $400 a month. If I would have waited until I could pay off all my debt first, I would probably be paying close to $2,000 a month more on my mortgage for the next 15 years and maybe only saved about $400 a month in debt payments that I would have paid off. This would have been devastating to my family. The last thing I'll say about the mortgage rule is they say you should get a 15-year fixed mortgage. I think this is good if you can comfortably afford it, if your payments really would be under 25% of your take-home income. But for those who are barely making it, especially if you're younger, I think it's okay to get a 30-year fixed mortgage. It makes a huge difference. Take our current example. Say you get lucky and you can find a $320,000 house, which is hard to do in today's current market. A 15-year fixed mortgage at a 7% interest rate would be about $3,251 a month. A 30-year fixed mortgage would be about $2,541 a month. So you're saving about $700 a month. If you're barely making it, that $700 extra a month could be very valuable to you. You could use it to pay off your debt or to just live. The last baby step that I think should be updated, particularly for lower income families, is baby step number 5, save for your children's college fund. I think you should not see this as an absolute necessity. It would be okay for your children to figure out how to pay for school themselves. If you just can't afford to put money aside for college for your children, don't feel like you're a terrible person. It is okay for your children to figure out how to pay for college themselves. I was able to figure out how to get a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree, 2 diplomas, and a certificate of completion at different schools, and I currently don't have any student loans. I was able to figure out how to do it without getting in debt for the most part. There are plenty of cheap schools out there. You don't have to send your kid to a super expensive school. Your kid will be fine going to a community college, and they can work to pay for it themselves. It's really not a big deal. That's my take on Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you like the updates I made to his plan? Or do you think his plan is fine how it is? Or do you think there's any other part of his plan that should be updated? Let us know in the comments below. Like the video if you'd like to see more videos like this. On this channel, we make videos about business, personal finance, productivity, and how to build better habits. If those things sound interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.